You snoozed twice this morning, spilled your coffee once, and you've already blamed last night's referee for your morning mood.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's time to embrace the chaos and step into the madness.
Bro, you about to see a side of me you didn't even know existed.
Featuring guests who are over-caffeinated and less reasonable than the average person.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Ugh.
Fans, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Welcome to the show.
So buckle up. It's time for hot takes and hot mics. This is the Morning Rant, where the only thing more unpredictable is Dave before his third cup of coffee.
I just felt like running.
On WPGY, the Sports Pig.
The bracket is officially busted. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into this Happy Hour Friday edition of the Morning Rant. Dave Garner with you till 11 o'clock. Man, oh man, what a night. Sweet 16 action taking place last night. The other half of the bracket playing out tonight as we head into a busy weekend. We will know by weekend's end who is in this year's Final Four. Hey, thanks for being with us right here on a Friday. Again, the Friday Happy Hour presented by our friends at the Pub in J. We're going to talk about some March Madness here in just a moment. But first of all, it is opening day for our Atlanta Braves. And joining us right here on the program is our Braves insider, my co-host, the Golden Boy, Will Cooper, joining us right here as well. And before we get into the bracket, we're going to kind of lay out the show over the next couple of minutes right here. Big matchup. Of course, Braves will be broadcasting live this afternoon over on our sister station over on 101.1 The Pulse from 4 to 6. The Porch with Darren and Asa, a special edition from the Battery from Truist Park down in, I say Atlanta, really Cobb County, just shy of the city limit there. But again, North End, hey, North Side representing here this morning on the Morning Rant. Hey, partner, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. You know, one thing that I thought was very interesting about your lead in there is how quickly you're ready to bury the lead. We'll talk about March Madness eventually. Don't worry about it. My bracket's definitely fine. You know, I mean, I'm
No,
over here.
my bracket's
double
busted
repping today.
Yeah, you are,
know,
man.
I mean, I got the Alabama and Braves co-branded hat along with the Braves jersey. I mean, you know, when you have teams that I root for with so much success, it's very difficult to find a way to rep everything you need to rep in any given day.
I can jump on the whole Braves thing. I don't know about the other side of that. But, yeah, you are. It's funny. You and I didn't coordinate this at all. For those that are watching the show on YouTube today, yeah, man, we just came in here with our best Braves gear. You know, I mean, you came in here with the red and white, the traditional home Braves jersey. I come in here with a traditional Navy road jersey with the Atlanta and the red lettering across it, and we didn't even play on that, man. But hey, how appropriate, man! Opening day for Atlanta Braves. We're going to talk a little bit coming up in the next few minutes about some information, some analytics that you shared with our listeners yesterday in respects to just some, you know, for all those baseball geeks out there that are number crunchers. I mean, baseball is one of those games that obviously is very much about the numbers, maybe even more so than other sports that we talk about. And so we're going to kind of dive into those numbers a little bit further today and talk a little bit about the Brave spring training. You know, we joked around earlier in the week about them being the, you know, Grapefruit League champions, which they were. Of course, the Dodgers are winning the Cactus League out west, of course. But, you know, how much stock do you put into that? Absolutely none. I know yesterday you said you didn't really look into it at all based on the analytics that you had. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more as well. Also, of course, world of NFL, we talked a little bit throughout the week about some of the streaming devices and platforms, the competition committee getting together, of course, earlier in the week as well, putting together some, proposed rules and things like that. Hey, big weekend for NASCAR, too, by the way. Again, the Sports Pig is your home for NASCAR for cup races on Sundays primarily, but the weekends are set aside for NASCAR right here on WPGY, the Sports Pig. Again, Sunday, 3:30 start time in Martinsville, man. They go on the short flat track there, and we'll talk about some of the standings because one of our locals currently leading the Craftsman Truck Series standings, and we'll talk more about that in the program as well. Hey, thanks for being with us right here, as we mentioned, on a Happy Hour Friday. Let's just go ahead and dive into it. I know you're accusing me of burying the lead, but again, man, what a night last night overall. Yes, my bracket officially actually done. I've said it now for how long have I been saying it, Coop? I mean, I told you my luck was going to run out this year. I felt pretty good. The sad thing, though, about it was I was in perfect position. I mean, I was leading the brackets. I was in the top 30 of our friends at Geiger Legal, their bracket challenge. I was right there at the top with you and our friend league there. And now you, my friend, are the one sitting in the catbird seat with all the pressure squarely on your shoulders after my Houston Cougars laid an absolute egg last night against the Fighting Illini. They didn't even show up, man. What in the world was going on? Kelvin Sampson, the head coach, man, it looked like these guys just weren't ready to play basketball last night. I mean, they were down by as many as 20-something points, I think, at one point. I think they lost by 10. I didn't even watch the rest of it, but the game was over, man. I mean, early in the night, they're just Houston out-rebounded, outplayed, out-hustled, out-physicaled. I mean, the entire night, basically, by this Illinois team. And then, of course, a lot of other good games going on last night. Arizona, your national champ pick, is still very much alive. They had an impressive showing last night as well. But your take, man, on that first half of the Sweet 16 bracket last night.
Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out Iowa, man. I mean, they keep on rolling.
I tell you what, yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Usually when you have a lower seed like that beats a 1 seed, it's kind of, that's like the pinnacle they reach and then they fall way off.
Right.
Nebraska had the 4-player bundle there with the defensive side that ended up right at the end of the game being a big difference. For anybody that doesn't know, Nebraska only had 4 players on the court, and Iowa stole the ball, laid up a 2, and made it a 5-point lead instead of just a 3-point lead, and then we're kind of forced to foul for the rest of the game.
Right.
As far as Illinois, Houston shot the ball incredibly poorly. I thought that Illinois was going to win, and why I picked them in my bracket, because they're kind of going on the Serbian special. You've heard of passport bros.
Yeah.
Well, they are passport coaches. They're heading over to Europe to get these guys. And I just saw that there was too much talent disparity between them. And Houston tries to play so slow, but in matchups like that, they don't do a great job of controlling the pace. So I didn't trust Houston very far. Yeah.
And then looking at it, of course, there's a lot of great matchups tonight. Obviously, Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, UConn, certainly one I'm going to have my eye on throughout the evening. But yeah, the whole South bracket, I'm done, man. I'm done. I mean, Florida, I had Florida and Houston, I think, playing in this next round, and neither one of those two got anywhere close. I've got Arizona, I've got Purdue. I picked the West right, and we'll see about the East tonight, and of course the Midwest there. I've got. I know you've got Alabama, right? Against you got Michigan. No. You got Michigan over it.
Yeah.
So how in the world can you sit there right now with that Alabama, that co-branded Alabama Atlanta Braves hat on, and sit there and tell me that you're not picking your boys to beat the Wolverines tonight?
Well, there's a difference between the heart and the mind.
Yes, I was hoping you'd say that. I knew you were going to say that. That's how I threw you one up there and let you hit it out of the park. Because you're right. You cannot pick with your heart. I mean, you really can't.
I believe it's Solomon that talks about in Ecclesiastes what the vanity is, which is vapor.
Yes.
It's I believe that's the quote is, it's a fool that makes matters of the heart with the mind.
Right.
There you go. There's your biblical reference.
There you go, man. Look at the Golden Boy throwing out scripture this morning right here on the Morning Rant on a Friday happy hour presented by our friends at the pub in J. But we appreciate you guys being with us right here again. Hey, nothing wrong with a little bit of spiritualness right here again on the Morning Rant. Hey, let's talk a little bit the rest of the weekend. I mean, we're going to have to leave off today. We're Monday through Friday, of course. So what does the rest of the bracket look like after tonight going into the weekend for you? Or what do you think's going to happen?
I think that as far as this goes, I mean, I have Michigan beating Alabama. I don't know how close it's going to be. UConn, Michigan State. I like UConn in this matchup, but boy, is that a close game. You kind of alluded to that. And then the bottom part of the bracket is really key for me because I have Illinois playing in the national championship game. So I feel a lot better that they don't have to get through Florida. They got to just get past Iowa.
Right, yeah.
So I think it shapes up quite well. I mean, for me, the Final Four that I had was UConn, Illinois, Arizona, and Michigan.
Yeah. Well, you're very much still very much intact, man. That Illinois pick may have just won you the bracket. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. And by the way, where is Art Mosley? I mean, I'm looking down the standings, and I'm still not seeing Art up there at the top.
He will finish above you.
He will finish above me probably because I've lost out. A Final Four and now a national champion, and ESPN gives you a gazillion points if you win it, and I can't win it now. So my max amount of points is way behind there. But hey, I'll go ahead and gloat while I can because I'm still on top, but I ain't gonna be there very long. But I said it all along, man. The luck was gonna run out. Indeed, it did, and so. Here we are, and so now I'm going to be down there with the bottom dwellers this year. But it was time to step aside and let somebody else have some fun. I mean, if you're winning that thing 3 or 4 years in a row, it's not fun for anybody else. But now it's up to you, big dog. Now you're the one in the catbird seat.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your modesty. I mean, that's one thing that I've always valued about you, that and your Elton John lookalike glasses. But,
yes.
Overall, I think as far as the bracket goes, unfortunately for you, you're now dead with the max points.
I'm dead. Oh, yeah, no, I'm out of it, man. I make no bones about that. Very first thing I said today out of my mouth was the bracket is busted, and I mean that. I mean, there ain't no coming back from this. Shame on the Houston Cougars. Shame on me for picking them, I guess, really, at the end of the day.
I'm about to say, not on who could have seen it happen?
Well, I really didn't follow. I mean, and there were a lot of people. I mean, there were some professional prognosticators out there. I mean, but here's the thing. Before last night, okay, before that loss, I was like in the 97th percentile, of brackets. I was on the top million around the country. Statistically, I was right on par with what I've done the last 2 years. And then last night, Houston losing it, man, just completely tossed me out. Now, where are you at now? Well, I
am 890,316th.
So you are inside the top 1 million. How many people play this thing, by the way, on ESPN? I mean, there's several million.
27 million?
Yeah, I was going to say. So you're in the 98th percentile probably or something like
96.8.
Okay, so you're almost 97 percentile. So if things play out the way that you say they will, you may very well be in the hunt for you might be in that top 100 or so by the end of it. If Illinois,
I'm 21st in the Geiger Gives Back group right now, so I'm hoping that I can get some wins strung together here and get that win.
That's where I was at last night before all heck broke loose. Was about 21, and now they ain't gonna have to worry about giving me the $1,000. I can tell you that. So for the rest of everybody that's left in the Geiger bracket challenge, again, our friends at Geiger Legal Group doing the bracket challenge. They're $1,000 by the way to the winner, $10,000 to a charity in your name. So it's a great deal there, and we do appreciate our friends at Geiger Legal Group for being on board with us right here on the Morning Rant. Hey, we're up against our first break right here. Again, join us on social media. Again, the Sports Pig on Facebook and Twitter, and the Morning Rant on Instagram and also on YouTube. Also, podcast versions of the show each and every day on sportspigradio.com and wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, you name it. We're all over the place. A lot of different ways to listen, so we expect you to listen. And so far, you guys have been doing just that. Thanks for being with us right here on the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia, on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
Grand Slam! 98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, the official home for the Atlanta Braves baseball.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Recovered, Atlanta. Game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
An hour of Dave-A-Day keeps the workday full of play. Woo-hoo! It's time for the Friday morning happy hour on the Morning Rant.
All right, back here on the Friday morning happy hour presented by our friends at the pub and L&J. Dave Garner with you right here on a gorgeous Friday here in North Georgia. We're expected to have high temperatures, record temperatures today in the 80s here. And so, again, we're going to be hot. But then guess what? A cold front comes in tonight, and we're right back down into the 40s tomorrow morning with a high tomorrow of about 60. So, the saying always is and has been here. If you don't like the weather in North Georgia, wait a few minutes, it'll change. So yeah, man, tonight we'll be shedding everything we got on. Tomorrow we will be putting on hoodies and sweatshirts again. So that's just the way it works, man.
You got to love the mountains with that kind of stuff. I mean, I personally always have enjoyed it, especially till you get till about April, late April. Get past Blackberry winter. Right. Which this is not, by the way. This is not Blackberry winter.
No.
That's usually in May. But yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed the fact that you can enjoy a few warm days, and even the days that it cools down, it's not bad. It's hoodie weather, which, reminds me of, we're not far away again from October.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, it'll be here before you know it. We were talking about yesterday, you and I were talking about some high school news. We're talking about Etowah and Woodstock High School, baseball, also some coaching news. Woodstock Wolverines naming a new head football coach after, of course, Coach Devine left to go down to IMG Academy. And it's always that time of year where, and Chuck Oliver, of course, the king of college football, will be on at 11 o'clock. He'll be talking about spring practice. He'll be talking college football stuff and chopping it up. But we're kind of getting to that time of year where you kind of start thinking ahead a little bit to football and to that time of year. And I know, here with everything we've got going on at, with Carriage Radio, with our sister station, 101.1 The Pulse, with us here at WPGY, the Sports Pig, we've got a lot of different promotions. I think over the final 265 days of the year, we have over 180 promotions currently on the schedule, and that's no joke. So we're literally averaging basically a live show or a promotion once every 3 days. We 2 times this week, our afternoon show has been on the road. We're going to be down at Truist tonight. Tomorrow morning, there's a big Easter egg hunt going on over in Cartersville. We're dropping a bunch of plastic eggs out of a helicopter with a bunch of prizes in them and stuff. So again, it's kind of nonstop. But you start thinking about that fairs, festivals, and football promotion that we do here. And this year, the Sports Pig is, I'm excited, is going to very much be a part of that. And so, to your point, yeah, man, it will be here before you know it. Pretty soon, we'll be in mid-October talking about high school football playoff races. And so this is kind of, to me, when the weather warms up, people get outside, March Madness, the Masters, the Kentucky Derby, all those different things is when things really start to crank up.
Yeah, the Masters to me is the flag in North Georgia. It's when we can get to the Masters, then we're good. Because even with March Madness, you can have some cold days. But yeah, the Masters, that to me is. Let's roll, guys. This is springtime.
There you go. Absolutely. Hey, later in the show, we're going to reveal a new segment right here. And for those folks that have paid attention here before, and you might know who Will Cooper is, he became one of the things that became him popular and put him on the map was a thing called the Cooper Predictor. And I'll let you explain that later in the show, but I wanted to tease it now because some of the things that we're going to be talking about when we talk about March Madness, we talk about Braves, and of course football, especially high school and college football, is you've got a very unique system for being able to predict games. And so, again, we want to bring different perspectives to you. I think the one thing that I love about this show is, we have a guy like Big John Davis, a former professional athlete that brings a very unique perspective to this program that you can't get anywhere else. I mean, I know we talk about March Madness. I know we talk about a lot of other things that a lot of other sports talk stations talk about, but nowhere else can you get Big John and his inside take, on the daily about what it was like to be a professional athlete. Well, another one of those differentiators, I'm telling you, is the Cooper Predictor. And I don't want to put any pressure on you, partner, but you've got an 80+% success rate with this thing, I think. I mean, I don't want to speak for you.
Yeah, so it's sports specific. So high school football, 82%, college football, about 74%, NFL, about 68%. We also have one built for tennis that's about 75%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We also have one for Major League Baseball that averages about 68%. And then we have a college basketball one that's right about 81% of the time.
So now I'm not promoting gambling on the show, okay, because I don't gamble. And if you do, great. There's a lot of people. We're close to, Harrah's, Cherokee, Murphy, Mississippi, all those places. So again, if you do, great. But I will tell you that if you are one of those people that does tend to want to throw a little money around, and everything, again, now Koopa's not responsible. We'll put that disclaimer in there. But again, you might want to start paying attention a little bit to Thursdays and Fridays right here on the show, because we are going to build in the Cooper Predictor, and we're going to talk a little bit about that without giving away the secret recipe to it. We're going to talk about that later in the show, and we will actually run a few matchups through it later in the program. But right now, let's jump more into tonight. Spring training over with. We're done talking about it. Now we've got live baseball basically until October, like you were talking about earlier there. Again, the opening night matchup for the Atlanta Braves features Chris Sale, the ace, taking the bump against Cole Reagans from Kansas City. Again, the Royals in town right there. First of all, your thoughts on the opening day matchup tonight and basically this roster, because we're going to kind of run down that opening day roster and really dive into it here over the next couple minutes.
Yeah, we'll see how effective Chris Sale is, right? I mean, again, he's an older guy. I believe he's 42. He'll turn 43 in this season. He's had tremendous success against the Royals. This is a guy that's been a journeyman, if you will. I mean, he played with the White Sox for a bunch of years in Boston as well. So the Royals are not an unfamiliar opponent to him.
You're right. Yeah.
And then Cole Reagans is a lefty that the Braves last year struggled mightily against left-handed pitchers. That's not historically true for this lineup, though. If you go back to 2023 and before, now obviously it was a different makeup pre-2022, but 2023 especially, they were very successful against left-handed pitchers, excuse me. So I think it favors Chris Sale if he's back to the version that we got at the opening day of last year. And we can go through the lineup and kind of explain that as well. But the Royals don't have a bunch of heavy hitters, that kind of an aging core as well.
So let's go back, because this will lead us into that conversation. You shared some data with us yesterday, and I know you're kind of a baseball nerd, like a lot of us are. And you were talking about some analytics that showed the reason why you weren't necessarily buying into this Braves lineup based on what they have done in the spring training. So for those that missed it yesterday, briefly kind of talk about that a little bit, and that'll lead us into our discussion as far as position by position breakdown.
Yeah, so Baseball Savant has a tracker that they use for spring training to determine difficulty of pitching faced. The average that you would see in AA in any given year is 7.2. The Braves this spring training saw an average difficulty of 7.6. It was the second lowest out of any spring training team, only opposed by the Dodgers, who won their league out in Arizona.
Right.
So the Braves hitters, they did a good job, but you're looking at an average that's against AA level pitching. That's not the reality.
But now I will say this, and let me play devil's advocate. Is that not the same for everybody? I mean, because a lot of teams, I mean, again, they're throwing a lot of arms in spring training. How does that stack up against the other teams, particularly, let's say, just the NL East, for example? I mean, how does it look for some of the other teams, and how, because you really can't help who you're facing. I guess the alarming thing is if you're not teeing off against AA pitching, then like we're going to talk about here in a second, but how do the other teams shape up versus that with that same model?
Well, it's not entirely league comparative. So I think the highest that I saw was 8.4, and I don't remember who it was. It might have been the Diamondbacks or something.
Yeah.
So it's not that everybody doesn't face the same level of pitching. You're going to roll pitchers out there in the first month that won't even smell a roster in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But what it does tell you is that guys like Acuna, you're looking for contact. You're looking for a recovery of injury. Obviously, you proved that in the WBC. Matt Olson, Austin Riley, the power was there. The concerning part is when you look at a guy like, Kyle Farmer that you brought in to maybe be a DH.
Right.
He hits 240 in spring training. Ozzie hits 210 in spring training.
Yeah.
That's not going to get better.
Right. No, absolutely. And you talked about it hitting on a AA level. And by the way, it is the Columbus Clingstones who are the AA affiliate of the Braves we were talking about yesterday. I was like, I couldn't remember what they were. I knew they weren't the Braves, but they moved over from Mississippi. So again, we've got the Stripers, of course, the AAA, the Clingstones, now the new AA affiliate down there in Columbus. Of course, the Rome Emperors, the Augusta Green Jackets, and of course the Florida Gulf Coast Braves, the Rookie League, and all that kind of stuff down the wire there. But yeah, so there is a reason why I'm wearing the jersey that I have on right now, because from the front, it is an Atlanta Braves jersey. It's got Atlanta across the front. But on the back, It is Ozzy Albies, okay? There's a reason why I'm wearing this jersey today. And what I'm hoping for is, as much as my March Madness luck has run out this year, I'm hoping that maybe wearing this jersey here today on opening day will provide maybe just a little bit of mojo for Ozzy Albies to have a little bit of a bounce back year, because let's be honest, man, it was a tough year last year. What you're telling me, based on the data and the analytics, is that he didn't have a very good spring, obviously, and he's batting .210, not even really hitting day in and day out against major league pitching. So that is not a good sign. I know that there were a lot of people that felt like, even in the offseason, man, what are they going to do with Ozzy long term? I mean, I know a lot of these guys are under contract for a while, but so maybe he can turn a corner this year and get back to form.
Well, I also think that if Acuna is somebody you want to bring back, which obviously you do, I mean, he's a generational talent when he's on the field.
Yeah.
I would say that it's worth signing Ozzy to a 4-year, $30 million deal just so it keeps Ronald around, because they want to play with each other.
Right. Yeah.
So are you going to pay Acuna $200 million? Maybe not. But you can pay him $170 and take 30 of that and give it to Ozzy, and he's a plus glove. And hopefully the rest of the lineup can survive a guy that bats, around the Mendoza line.
Yeah, let's keep it on the middle of the infield too for a minute. I mean, we're talking shortstop too, and kind of going down this roster just real quick. Infielders, again, Ozzy. You talked about Kyle Farmer coming over, maybe another bat and a glove there as well. Jorge Mateo, Mauricio Dubon, again the opening day shortstop. Obviously on the corners you got Olson Riley, you got Dominic Smith. It's kind of a utility guy as well. I think it's going to be critical for this Atlanta Braves team to kind of tie down that shortstop position. I know we've had some guys, over the last couple of years that have kind of pitched in there, but it's been the one position on the infield to me that has kind of been a revolving door a little bit, and nothing terribly solidified there. So again, maybe Dubon is the answer. What do you feel?
I think at least to start, yeah. I mean, I think that Dubon, it's his job to lose, even with Ha-Seong Kim making a return in the next couple of months.
At some point,
if
you're
Dubon's
right.
out there batting 260, 270, I don't see how you take him away. I mean, this is a guy that's a 3-time Gold Glove winner. I just don't see that. He's also a utility player to the nth degree. He's played 7 different positions.
Right.
So maybe Ha-Seong Kim gets hot, and you're like, all right, we're going to move Dubon to left field and replace Yastrzemski. Or
platoon or whatever, yeah.
But they'll kind of supplement where needed.
Right, absolutely. And I like that. It kind of reminds me of he's a lot like the old Jose Oquendo, which was obviously a little before your time there, but Oquendo was a utility player that played all 9 positions at some point in his career. He came in and pitched a few innings, he caught, he played, every position in the outfield at some point. So, I mean, every position on the infield, I mean, he was definitely the epitome of the utility Swiss Army knife player back in the days for the St. Louis Cardinals there. On to the outfield again, Acuna, Michael Harris, Mike Yastrzemski, and of course Eli White backing them up. I don't think there's any surprises there, obviously. You hope that Ronald can stay healthy. I think he's obviously the glue that kind of holds this thing together. The biggest question that I have, though, is who's the clubhouse leader? Like who is the guy? I mean, I know Acuna, is a guy that is just the skill set is unbelievable. I mean, he can do it all. He's that 5-star, like we talk about, player that can run, that can hit, that can field, that can do everything there. I'm not so much sure that he's a clubhouse leader type person, though. Freddie Freeman was a clubhouse leader. He was a guy that kind of kept everybody in check. That's the one thing I did love about having already escapes the name, our catcher from the last several years.
Sean Murphy?
Oh, not Murphy.
Or Travis d'Arnaud.
D'Arnaud. Thank you. I'm already looking at this lineup here. But d'Arnaud is one of those guys, a veteran guy that, always came up clutch in big moments, wasn't an everyday player because of, being in the twilight of his career, but a guy that you felt like was very much a leader. And I know Chris Sale has a lot of that fire, but he's not an everyday player. He's a pitcher. So again, when I look down this lineup, I think to myself, there's a lot of things that we see on the field, but a lot of things that we don't see off of it. And so for me, I want to know who are going to be the leaders. I want to know who are going to be the outspoken, the clubhouse guys that are going to kind of take the lead here. And that'll be interesting to see, how that goes. And us as casual fans we're not always privy to that. We don't always have that information, but I think it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic and chemistry of this team plays out.
Yeah, I just keep going back to if you had to do it over again, wouldn't you offer Dansby Swanson a bunch more money, try and keep him in Atlanta out of the Cubs? I mean, he's done a great job in Chicago because that would answer that question. But I think the answer is Matt Olson is who it has to be. Now, he doesn't seem like very vocal.
He's not a vocal guy.
He doesn't seem like super fiery, but he kind of would be the glue guy. He's been there. He's been there a long time. And he's also been on some horrible teams coming from Oakland. So, he knows what it takes not to be horrible.
Hopefully that'll be it. Hey, we're up against our second break. We come back. We'll break down the bullpen. We'll break down the battery, basically, for the Atlanta Braves as we continue our no longer spring training discussion. Hey, it's go time, baby. Opening day tonight for the Atlanta Braves. You're listening to the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia. This is the Morning Rant on the SportsPig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, where hot takes meet hot mics.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Loose, recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
Big opinions of the big games from the big mouths.
Man, I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the Morning Rant on WPGY, the Sports Pig, North Georgia's home for ESPN Radio.
Sit down.
And we're having a lot of fun right here on a Friday, man. Happy Hour Friday right here on the Morning Rant, brought to you by your friends at the pub in LJ. Hey, we're going to be broadcasting live next Wednesday from the pub, our first ever on-location edition of the Morning Rant. Join us Wednesday, 10 to 11 at the pub in LJ as part of a Winging It Wednesday. They have dollar wing specials on Wednesday, so we will be there next Wednesday right here on the Morning Rant. Also, I do want to throw this out there. Big John Davis, as you guys know, one of our co-hosts, part of the Morning Rant team, the John Davis Golf Classic, June 3rd this year, so benefiting the Georgia Mountains Hospice. So go ahead and mark your calendars now for June 3rd. Again, Big John will be there. We will be broadcasting live from that event as well, and that's a few months off, so we'll talk about that more as we lead up to it, but go ahead and put that one on your calendar. I know a lot of people plan their vacations and things during the summer, things like that, so I wanted to go ahead and throw the date out there so that you could go ahead and put it down and make sure you block out that day. It'll be at Bent Tree Golf Club in Pickens County, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Hey, this is the fastest 1 hour in sports talk radio around the country. Dave Garner back with you right here on the Morning Rant. Join us again live Monday through Friday, 10 to 11, right here on WPGY, the Sports Pig. But if you can't listen live, you can always listen in other ways. Again, we archive these shows right on our website, sportspigradio.com. Scroll on down. You'll see the most recent episodes of the show. You can also go to YouTube and watch them all. Again, video versions if you want to see our Braves jerseys today to see what the look and fit is like here on a Fit Check Friday with my man Will Cooper, the Golden Boy, and our very own. We were talking about Art Mosley. Our very own Art Mosley was indeed. He's listening, and so he was talking about the Jose Oquendo reference there, and that was back, it was before your time, and we were talking about some of the things, some of the players back then, like, again, Vince Coleman, Willie McGee, all those guys, Jack Clark, you go up and down the list, and one of the reasons why I am, like, my secondary team, if I had to pick a secondary team, would definitely be the St. Louis Cardinals, but again, when you're in Atlanta, we always joke around, you always have to have another team to root for, if you're an Atlanta fan. I know that sounds bad, but... Well, if you're a Falcon fan, you definitely do.
Well, yeah, I'm a Chargers fan outside of the Falcons.
So, see, you get it.
But, I don't like baseball. I could literally care less what anybody else does, except I hope that everybody in the NL East loses every game they play.
Well, yeah, and I hope that too. But, you just haven't been let down enough, I guess. So,
I've been let down plenty.
apparently, we have a defeatist mentality here, I think, in Atlanta when it comes to sports and things. So, again, we're all Braves today, certainly dressing the part and looking the part for sure. And I want to continue our discussion. Before the break, we were talking about, infield, outfield for the Braves. Let's dive in, Coop, a little bit further into the pitching, the rotation, the bullpen. Obviously, behind the plate, Drake Baldwin, Jonah Heim, a guy you really like. Sean Murphy, of course, still out. He'll rejoin the club at some point here in the near future. But looking down this list right here, obviously Spencer Strider not on the opening day roster because of the oblique strain. So there's some guys that aren't on the roster right now that will be within the next month or two that will return to the team. But until then, you got some stopgap guys. I was kind of a little bit bummed to see Aaron Bummer still back on the list. I just feel like, a guy that I know in spots last year was effective, but, man, it's hard to get past the name. How do you get excited when a guy comes out of the bullpen with the name Aaron Bummer? It just kind of takes the wind out of your sails.
I tell you, one of the best intros ever for a reliever was Shane Green, who was here in 2018, I think, traded from Detroit. And he had No More Tears by Ozzy Osbourne.
Right, yeah.
That was a great lead-out song. It's like the opposite of Aaron Bummer.
Right, yeah. Pretty much it's like the opposite. I did not like, and I'll mention his name because he's not on the roster anymore, but Luke Jackson, excuse me, is a name I don't like to bring up very much. But I will say this, they did lean into the whole Star Wars thing with him. So when he would come out, it was the Imperial dun, 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 and it was really cool. Unfortunately, he never really, lived up to the hype of the intro very much. But, Will Smith, when he was here closing out during the World Series, I mean, they had some really good ones, coming out of the bullpen, some things that would kind of fire you up. Obviously, whenever Craig Kimball was here and everything would go out and the fire and the flames and things like that. And that was another move, too, I never understood. The Braves could have brought him back, too, honestly. Still pitching a high level over the last several years. But top to bottom, Bryce Elder obviously making the opening day roster for the first time in his career. He's thrown a lot of innings for the Braves, but he's always been a guy that's been called up. Was actually an all-star a couple years ago as well. He makes the opening day lineup. You and I have talked a lot about Didier Fuentes, the young arm, that's been topping out pretty well during spring training there. Grant Holmes, a.k.a. Kenny Powers, if you will, the nickname there. But Raisel Iglesias, hopefully, he struggled a little bit last year closing games out. What do you make of this bullpen? Let's start there first.
Yeah, well, the bullpen, I think, is actually in a really good spot. You mentioned Raisel Iglesias, 2.62 ERA since 2023, 96 saves over that same period. A late addition is Robert Suarez. He had 40 saves last year, led the National League. He's now part of the bullpen. I don't know who will be the closer. One of those guys will be set up. One of them will close. But I think they're both great options. Well, Tyler Kinley, another addition as well. 0.72 ERA last year with Atlanta. Very effective pitcher. Joel Pompeyes, average guy, I would say. 2.78 ERA, 23-24. That's over 137 games. And then we kind of have the guys we know, Dylan Lee, Aaron Bummer. And then again, Osvaldo Bido was put on the roster.
Yeah, you mentioned that yesterday, man. Osvaldo, our guy Osvaldo, man. I love it. Bido. Honestly, man, I don't know a whole lot about that guy. I know you do. You've got a little bit of analytic on him, but
192 batting average against in 2024 with Oakland, 19% K rate. He's got a three pitch rotation of a fastball that tops out about 93, slider at 83, and then a two-seam fastball. Also got a change up and a cutter that he might throw. And again, the biggest addition to the bullpen to me is Didier Fuentes. 97 mile an hour fastball at the top, 30% K over spring, 63% K rate in the spring training as well. So to me, I think that he's a right-handed pitcher that can make a big difference. They've talked about adding him to the rotation as well. We'll see.
Yeah, there we go. So we're kind of talking like position group by position group. Let's go down this order real quick. I mean, top to bottom, it looks like Drake Baldwin. I haven't seen the lineup for today, but they've got him batting in the 2 spot, I think, in a lot of lineups, kind of protecting Acuna. I think it's a good place to be. Typically, you don't see a catcher batting that high in the lineup, but obviously we know, kind of that rookie of the year, that's sitting there. And then you've got guys like Austin Riley and Matt Olson to protect him in the lineup, batting behind him a little bit. So what do you make of this lineup, top to bottom? Obviously, Ronald, I think, stays in the leadoff spot. I think that's where he prefers to be. I don't want to mess that up. I mean, I know that people think, traditional baseball where you got guys on for him to drive in, but I think it's important this year, as I said yesterday, for the Atlanta Braves just to get on base, and make things happen. Manufacture runs when they need to, not just always relying on the long ball. So I love Ronnie at the top of the lineup. I hope Walt Weiss doesn't mess with that. I definitely think they're going to start the season that way. But what do you think about Drake being in that 2 spot and having some hitters behind him?
Yeah, I think Drake's in a good spot. It kind of gives you that right, left alternation as well, because I would assume Riley would be third. Matt Olson's going to clean up at fourth. So that gives you that alternating where they can't really just bring one guy in for you.
Yeah.
So all of that to me is kind of solidified 1 through 4. And again, I think Drake Baldwin, on the days he's not catching until Sean Murphy gets back, he's the DH. So I think that's going to be just a solid rotation for those two guys. My questions more come from the bottom part of this. My simulated opening day lineup, if I'm in the chair and I got to make a lineup, I'm going to go with Mike Yastrzemski at 5. I'm going to go with Ozzie Albies 6th. And then 7th is going to be my flex. So like today I would go Kyle Farmer.
Right.
But it could be Jonah Heim, could be anybody. Michael Harris 8, and then Mauricio Dubon would be 9th.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's some good average at the bottom to feed back to Acuna at the top.
Yeah, and hopefully, I like Michael Harris hitting kind of 7-8. I mean, I think that makes sense. That's kind of traditionally where we've seen him. I know sometimes they, some of those rare instances where maybe they would lead him off and try to put him on there, the speed and this, that, and the other. And, he's hit well, but I think with him, he tends to produce a lot better at the bottom of the lineup. Takes a little bit of pressure off of him somewhat, and I think he just tends to play a little bit better that way. So, again, that's the Braves top to bottom right here on the Morning Rant. We have broken it down for you right here on a Friday happy hour presented by your friends at the pub in Ellijay. Hey, we're up against our final break right here. When we come back, we'll talk about some NASCAR and the Cooper Predictor. We'll tell you what that's all about, all that and more straight ahead right here on the final segment coming up of the Morning Rant. We're the home of ESPN Radio in North Georgia on the Sports Pig app and online at sportspigradio.com.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, your official home for flag-to-flag coverage of NASCAR.
Tired of shouting your business's name into the void and getting nothing but crickets? Your brand deserves more than awkward billboard glances and flyers lining bird cages. Right now, listeners are hearing me ramble on instead of your ad. That's a touchdown for missed opportunities and a fumble for your wallet.
Loose, recovered, Atlanta, game over.
Your ad could be here, making fans laugh, cheer, and most importantly, call you. Go to sportspigradio.com or call 678-454-9552 and get your business off the bench and into the game.
We bring the heat. You bring the trash talk.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
It's the Morning Rant, live on the Sports Pig app and sportspigradio.com.
And welcome back to the program right here on a Friday happy hour. Dave Garner with you right here till 11 o'clock. Again, our man Chuck Oliver, the king of college football with Southern Sports Today, coming up here in just a few minutes. And he will break down the world of college football, recruiting news, a lot of big things coming up here at the top of the hour right here on sportspigradio.com. On the Sports Pig, we are the Morning Rant Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 right here. And we appreciate you guys being with us. A little change of scenery for Will Cooper, man. What I saw your camera angle change there for a minute.
Yeah, apparently it decided to completely switch off of the normal camera, so I'm on my laptop camera now.
And your microphone got a little louder too for some reason. So
I can fix that part.
Well, no, I mean, I'm okay. I got you here on this end, but yeah, man, you a totally different perspective right here in this fourth and final segment of the morning rant. So, no, we appreciate you guys being with us. Hey, man, we're decked out in our Braves gear, getting ready for opening day or opening night, if you will, for our Atlanta Braves. Did want to mention real quick, we talked about it earlier in the week. We will revisit this on Monday. We're going to talk a little bit more about NFL free agency. Of course, Trevor Siemian, running back Brian Robinson coming over to the Falcons. And of course, Travis Kelce signing a 3-year extension with the Chiefs. The Rules Committee coming up with some different rules. And also, Big John and I on Monday will talk a little more about some of the streaming platforms and what it costs for fans. I know you and I kind of touched on that a little bit yesterday, Coop, but we will revisit that more on Monday when Big John comes back with us right there on a Monday morning quarterback episode of the show. NASCAR, we talked about it on Sunday, Martinsville at 3:30, and currently right now, man, what a year for Tyler Reddick. I mean, this guy has been absolutely unbelievable, currently leading the Cup standings right now. And again, our very own Chase Elliott over in Dawsonville in the top 5 right now. Denny Hamlin 4, Bubba Wallace 3rd, Ryan Blaney in 2nd right now. But Tyler Reddick right now with about a 100-point lead almost with all the races. He's already got 4 wins this year in 6 races. So if that tells you anything for the Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, team there, man, those guys are off and running, of course, and Bubba Wallace also part of that team as well. So, man, those guys doing a good job. A little bit closer to home, our very own Chandler Smith currently leading the Craftsman Truck Series standings at 172 points. So he's about 33 points ahead, it looks like right now, of Honeycutt sitting there in 2nd. So congratulations, man. Chandler, keep the foot on the gas, buddy. And boogity, 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 man. Zoom it, all those things. So, again, you're shaking your head.
When it comes to the NASCAR standings, one thing that really bothers me is anytime you have a Toyota guy that is leading the series, which obviously Tyler Reddick is. Also, he's from California. This is a moonshiner's Appalachian Mountain sport. I need some of these young guns. Again, I'm looking at you, Chase. Like you were from the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains.
Don't let us down. Yeah, let's ring the bell over there at the pool room, man. Come on, let's get us some wins over there piled up right here. Again, we are your home for NASCAR Cup racing on Sundays right here on the Sports Pig. Again, home of ESPN Radio right here in North Georgia. We are also your new North Georgia home for the Atlanta Braves. And again, the Braves tonight, we just talked over the last couple segments about spring training and a lot of things going on top to bottom with the lineup and, breaking down position by position. So hopefully the Braves will put together a good showing tonight and get off to a great start. Last year, an 0-7 start, this team just never really recovered from. So hopefully this year will fare a little bit better. And now it's time for a new segment right here on the Morning Rant.
It's time for the weekly Cooper Predictor.
60% of the time, it works every time.
On the Morning Rant.
All right, so we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, and we gave you some theme music. We did some different things here, and so trying to spice it up right here on the home of spicy talk radio. It's the Sports Pig. But we talked a little bit about your Cooper Predictor, and this is something that you talked about in your days here in North Georgia, covering a lot of high school sports. We would run things through the Predictor, and man, I wanted to bring it into the show because you got a pretty good success rate for those people that do like to, bet a little bit here or there, friendly wagers, whatever, a Travis Scott McDonald's meal or whatever it may be that you want to bet. And by the way, I don't think we've ever gotten paid for any of those Travis Scott meals that we ever won. So
you and the mouse in your pocket.
Well, I won a couple too, and I never got them.
Not that I remember. I remember winning them.
Well, you've won them, but I've won some too. And I don't think I've ever gotten. You have to
settle that up with Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, Mr. Mosley, who's listening right now. Hey, we appreciate all of you guys listening as well. So talk about the Cooper Predictor without giving away your secret. How does it work? And then we'll dive into a couple of examples of how to use it.
Every sport's different. So we'll focus mostly on tennis and baseball today because it's what's in season. When we get into football and basketball, I'll go over those as well. Tennis, it's a culmination of every stat you would find on tennisabstract.com. You could hypothetically make one yourself.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's just an average is what you're looking for with my predictors. You're not trying to find the exceptions. You're just trying to find what on average works.
Yeah.
Again, from a betting perspective, again, don't do it in Georgia, not legal. If you're doing the call sheet thing, you can technically trade on markets, I think they call it.
Right.
But if you're doing it for that reason, what you can do is you try and find where the odds are favorable. It's all about implied odds. It's not just winning percentages.
Sure.
So that's part of it. And then baseball, we have to wait until about April 15th to get enough data from each team.
Right.
And once that happens, I'll be here on the show and I will bring you all my picks for each day. And you can all kind of make fun of me or ride with me depending on how we do.
We've been on the air about almost a month now, as we were talking about earlier in the week, and it's been great. We've had a lot of great analytics. You guys are listening, and we appreciate it more than you know. But the one thing we are going to do is we're going to keep it fresh. I mean, we're going to keep introducing new segments. I know one thing that's coming to the show is going to be some restaurant inspection scores, because that's one of the things that we talk about, man, is 80% sports, 10% food, 10% everything else, right? Music, entertainment. And so we do want to entertain you. And so we want to, talk about food, talk about different things that, hey, we guys like to talk about hanging out around the water cooler, right? So, hey, where'd you eat this weekend? Where are you going this week? This, that, and the other. So we want to bring food into it because, you can look at me and tell, we're big foodies, right? I know my man Billy D on Tuesdays is a big foodie, but you are too, even though you're a thinner guy. You're a foodie too. And so, we want to bring that into the show as well. But one of the things that we do want to bring in is the predictor. So before we get out of here today, do you have a couple things that you've run through it to kind of throw a little tidbit out there? All right, give it to us, man, right here. Now, you said tennis, right?
Yeah, tennis is what's been run over the day. So, for example, it's a pretty low slate because ATP Miami's wrapping up right now. Yeah. So we're looking at challengers. So, for example, overnight, we ran Gojo Borna. This was in, I believe it's Alicante Challenger. That was a win. Harry Wendelken was also a win. Uchiyama was a win. Sebastian Offner was a win. Roman Sofalin, in the time of the show, just won and cleared. So that was a good win.
Okay.
Federico Senna was our one loss for the evening. Still pending. You can go out and put money on this. Don't do it, you bunch of degenerates. Is Matej Dodeg in Challenger. I believe that's Challenger Split in France, which should start in a couple hours. That one's still pending. But, a quick 5-1 evening. Not bad.
Not bad. If you're, and we talked about it with March Madness. Now, again, I picked Houston, and so you don't have to listen to me anymore. But traditionally speaking, we've had success, and you've had success, and for all the shade that we throw Art and everybody else. I mean, but again, we do try to bring something to you right here, and something useful. And I would say 5-1's pretty good. If you're playing the percentages, I like the Cooper Predictor. And there's a lot of things that kind of go into that. We joke around about it. I know you fine-tuned it. I know there's a lot of analytics and data that you put into it to predict different things. So I'm excited to bring it right here to you. And again, there's a lot of different things that you can run this. I didn't even realize you had tennis and other stuff like that. We used to kind of just run it. I mean, it kind of started, I guess, more as just a high school football type thing, right? And then you started using it for college and pro and other things.
It literally started as you and I were calling high school football games, and we were doing these fun pick'em challenges where we would pick around the county or we would pick around the area, and it was just a friendly competition. And I said, there's got to be some stats that you can pull, which high school, for anyone who's ever done it, knows it's hard to pull any stats at all.
Right.
I built it, and it went 82%. And then I built it for college, and it went 74%. And then I said, well, that should work for other things. There are different formulas. So I don't want to say that the high school Cooper Predictor that was built in 2020, just because I wanted to, is the same thing that runs on tennis. It does not.
Right.
It's greatly expanded. But the idea that I have and the factors that I use are still very much the same. It's the coefficients that change for any math nerds out there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so again, we don't want to give away the secrets right there, but you got a pretty good track record, man, if I do say so myself. So again, we're going to bring that right here to the program, and looking forward to it. Again, the Cooper Predictor. Anything else? Did you have any other sports? I don't want to cut you off. Got anything else you want to run through it, or are we going to leave it off with tennis right here today?
We'll leave it off just because opening day, we need some more stats. So I really feel confident in the predictor once we get about 10 to 15 games into the baseball season. So again, this time in a couple of weeks, I'll be happy to bring y'all a whole list of really the whole slate. I'll do the entire slate and tell you who I think is going to win each match.
Awesome, man. I love it. I love it. Again, hey, thanks to our sponsors once again, Geiger Legal Group, our friends over at Foundation Wealth in Dalton, Green Heating and Cooling in the pub in Ellijay. Once again, we'll be live next Wednesday from the pub, and we hope that you'll join us for that. And of course, back here on Monday in studio, and of course, our man John Davis joining us once again right here on the program as we get set for another weekend. March Madness. We're going to narrow it down to the Final Four. We've talked a lot about that earlier in the show today. Of course, our Atlanta Braves taking the field tonight for the first time in 2026, and looking forward to that. Coop, man, thanks for bringing it right here once again, man. You again brought the energy, brought the enthusiasm, man. I like the direction that we're headed right here on the program, man. We appreciate you being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Always glad to take a victory lap on March Madness and whenever I can. And, of course, chop on, go Braves.
Chop on, man. No doubt about it. Hey, we want to remind folks, again, check us out on our social media, The Morning Rant on Instagram, and, again, full video episodes on YouTube each and every day. Of course, the Sports Pig and Sports Pig Radio on Facebook and also on Twitter as well. And, of course, you can listen to the downloaded version of this show on sportspigradio.com and also on the various podcast platforms that exist. And so, again, a lot of different ways to listen to this station, a lot of different ways to listen to this show. And as we close out, I guess, our, fourth week right here on the air, as I mentioned, we've gotten some good analytics, and we have you to thank for that, all of our listeners out there. So until Monday, we hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy March Madness. Enjoy the opening of Major League Baseball. Enjoy NASCAR and all those things that we're home to right here on The Morning Rant. Thanks for being with us. Until Monday, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. We appreciate you guys being with us. We'll see you Monday right here on The Morning Rant.
98.1 and 93.7 The Sports Pig, your official home for Georgia Bulldogs basketball.